Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above, wishing you an amazing week so far. We have a lot to cover in today's video as we're in a very critical time for this crypto market, seeing the volatility ramp up. And in today's video, I'm going to cover everything I'm seeing in the charts. And of course, we'll be starting this off with reviewing some important dates to consider over the remainder of this week and into next week. And also just a reminder, the new month has started on Patreon. If you've been waiting to join, I appreciate your support. You can sign up today by visiting patreon.com/watersabove to join the Mastermind community or Trading Wolves membership and get instant access to my weekly Red Pill podcasts. That's my technical analysis podcast to wrap up the week and for me to review the altcoins that our community votes on. And the recent Red Pill podcast I just released was actually a live stream to celebrate 2 years of our Mastermind community. And it was almost 3 hours long. I went over about 10 different altcoin projects and even did a Gematria decode on PulseChain. So for those of you who are in the HEX community and you wanted me to go deeper into the HEX project, the HEX ecosystem, this is it. I exposed some serious gems connected to PulseChain and HEX by the code, so you won't want to miss out on that. And also by becoming a Patreon supporter, you'll get access to our Discord server for our community group chat, so you can come hang out with the Wolf Pack, and you'll also unlock the biggest discounts available on my courses. The Patreon link can be found in the description box in this video or in the pinned comment below. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. So today, allegedly Satoshi Nakamoto's 48th birthday, our favorite mythological creature of the crypto market. But jokes aside, tomorrow will be the full moon. We've been anticipating this full moon for a while, and that means that it is Passover. So today is Passover Eve, and it will last until April 12th. Of course, it is 7 days, keeping up with that sevens that we talk about quite often in the theme of Judaism. And it also follows the moon cycle, hence why I prioritize this Hebrew calendar with my analysis, as it plays a more powerful role in its influence of markets compared to the Gregorian calendar. But we use both here. We're trying to combine both because together they are even more powerful in my holistic system, combining it with Gematria and Numerology. So Passover starts on this full moon, which will be into pretty much today into tomorrow. And something to note about the number sevens is it will be on a 17 standard date numerology, and that 17 is the 7th prime number. And that's very important because we're definitely considering these primes as part of our overall analysis, and the date numerology as well. You could see that it is 53 when you do the double digit date numerology that I like to do, and 53 is the 16th prime number, and 1 plus 6 also equals 7. So we're getting sevens no matter what here. And we'll be getting into some of the other details of this specific date, but for now, this is all about Passover, and that's starting today into tomorrow. It will last pretty much a week, and I haven't spoken about this yet, and today's an opportunity for this because I've been giving you all so much information about the upcoming solar eclipse that'll be in about 2 weeks from today, and I really just wanted to dedicate a little bit of today's decode to Passover, give you some more unique data. And this is our April full moon, as I mentioned moments ago, and this date numerology and everything adding up to the sevens, very important. It will be a full moon in Libra, and this full moon lands on the 96th day of the year. 96, we mirror that number. It's the 69. It's the yin-yang number of balance. And remember how on the 69th day of the year, we go back to March 10th, this was the day that Silicon Valley Bank failed. So this 69-96 connection is very important for us to consider, especially since Bitcoin's all-time high is $69,000. This is coded all in. Saturn is Satoshi. Saturn equals 69. We're getting these numbers everywhere. There's 21 million Bitcoins in supply, Saturn giving you 21 in both ciphers. This is Father Time. This is Father Blockchain. All right, so let's move on. We know that we're in the month of April, which is the month of Apru or Aphrodite. And let me show you by the code. Remember, we're talking about this number 96, and we have Aphrodite giving you right here that 96. Again, all coded together. And this full moon on April 6th also has the same date numerology as the upcoming lunar eclipse on May 5th. So let me get into that. May 5th, 2023, and you could see right there, double digit date numerology 53, 53, and standard date numerology 17, 17. So it's sharing these numbers, and I just broke those down a little bit earlier. And let's just consider that this will be 4 weeks and 1 day apart, and we are currently in the 14th week of this year. 14, mirror of 41, as above, so below. Now, an important thing to consider is this upcoming Friday. I found a lot of interesting code for this. This will be the day after the full moon. And this Friday, or Freya Day, day of Venus, is very interesting since it's the 97th day of the year. And naturally, 97 is your 25th prime number. And if we go by the code, coming back to Venus, that's 25 in Chaldean. And if you look at the date numerology on this date, you're getting the 18 and the 54, just like Venus has your 18 and your 54 right there. 97th day of the year, and that's the 25th prime. In the Chaldean cipher, Venus equals 25, and this landing on the day of Venus. This is very important, guys. This is very important you pay attention to this code and how it's working itself throughout. Now, if it has that number 25 or 52, it's so important this year out of all years because we are in the year of the rabbit in Chinese zodiac. And you could see right there that 52 and 25. Venus, again, is symbolism tied back to the rabbit as well as the moon, this being fertility symbolism, feminine symbolism, etc. Also, rabbit, you remove that T, you have rabbi, just like we were talking about before with Judaism and the fact that this is Passover. These months of March and April are very important in Judaism. So I won't be going too deep into that in today's video, but I have talked about it quite a bit in the past about the power of the Hebrew calendar on the Shemitah Decoded video and the Jubilee Decoded video available on my Patreon. And you'll get access to that as well as the recent decodes that I've come out with, the Year of the Rabbit Decoded, and just recently, a couple weeks ago, I came out with Sell in May and Go Away Decoded. That decode was packed full of gems talking about the month of May and how I'm feeling about that month and how I'll personally be responding to that month with my own portfolio. So getting back to this number 25 that we were talking about, we had Venus giving you 25 again on this Friday that's coming up. It's the 97th day of the year. That's your 25th prime number, Venus equaling 25. And another 25 connection we have is crypto right there giving you 25. And look at that, 97, just like this day will be the 97th day. And it's coded into this Friday. It's amazing, right? Just a couple days after Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday. But we flip the 25, or we mirror the 25 that gives us the 52, and that will be cryptocurrency, your 52. Again, 25, 52, coming back to Year of the Rabbit right there. So revisiting Passover, this will be ending on the 12th. So let's check out the final day of Passover's code. We have it being the 12th day of April. And we could also see that it is the 102nd day of the year. In the rules of numerology, you're going to remove that 0. That gives you 12 again. And if you go to the actual Hebrew calendar, you'll see that the 12th of April is Nisan 21. The mirror of 12 is just 21. Again, as above, so below. This is very important. You're not getting that with all the other dates. Okay, so pay attention to this specific code. And a reminder, Passover is changing every year when you put it into the Gregorian system. The same thing with Rosh Hashanah, etc., because in Judaism, they're using the lunar cycles as well. So getting back to this, if you consider this 1221 code that I've been talking about, remember that 21 comes back to Satoshi or Saturn right there, and you flip the 21, you have a 12. That brings you right back to Rabbit. We're in the Year of the Rabbit. There's your 12. If you wanted to get even more esoteric, by the way, you can see Rabbit gives you 47, and in the Gregorian system, this date, April 7th, would be 47, 47. So you're getting another connection there. I mean, how many connections could you come up with just between two dates? It's pretty amazing. And this is why we're getting the type of energy that we're getting in this market around this time. Once we flipped into January of this year, you start to see everything pivot into the 2023 year. I'll be getting a little deeper into that code in a moment. So we are currently in the 14th week of this year. You could see that right there between April 3rd and April 9th. We have a couple of 14s to get into, but just to decode the 14, it is 2 sevens, 7 plus 7, coming back to our theme of sevens. And Passover ends on the April 12th date. And if we go to April 12th, we're going to see that has a 14 date numerology. So we're getting these 14s also coded in. And from my last video, I was speaking about the power of the number 14 and 15, but let's just focus on 15 now that we've been speaking a lot about the 14. XRP gives you that 15. We could see that right there by the code. And we're entering the 15th week of this year on April 10th. Let me show you that right here. Could start the 15th week on the 10th of April. And the first time that we get a 15 date numerology in the 15th week of the year will actually be the Thursday, April 13th. And again, let me just summarize this. This date will be in the 15th week of the year, and this will be the first time we get a 15 standard date numerology in that week. Now, let's decode this specific day a little bit further. It's very powerful. It's a Thursday or a Thorsday, which is the day of Jupiter. And by the code, Jupiter and XRP are tied together. You can see right here, Jupiter gives you that 27. Ripple gives you 27 in the same cipher. All right. So another financial connection to be made here is it will be the 103rd day of the year. And 103 ties you back to Mercury. Mercury, right there with the 103. And why this matters so much is this is the god of fiat money, of money created out of thin air. Fiat, the Federal Reserve System. So this 103 connection to this specific date, very powerful. And you can see we have that 23 connection. I'm going to be getting into that a little bit later, but we know Bitcoin equals that 23. We're in the Hebrew year of 5783. Speaking of the Hebrew calendar, that adds up to 23. Very powerful year. And April 13th, we could actually connect this to upcoming Rosh Hashanah, speaking again of the Hebrew calendar. And you'll see right here that the day of Rosh Hashanah, not only does it land on a Saturn day, but it's a 23 date numerology. And if you connect these two dates together, you have 22 weeks and 2 days, the 222 code. So naturally, the last day of Jubilee will be September 17th. That's connected 223. The 223 in the 223 year. Very powerful. So I suspect April, this week of the year, when we have April 12th, 13th, 14th, that 3-day time frame, very powerful. Anybody who watched my Sell in May and Go Away Decoded, you know I was given some gems tied to the Titanic, so I'll be touching on a couple of those in a moment. But if you remember that, those were mind-blowing connections to not only the Titanic event, but the Titanic movie that came out. So those decoders that follow my work, you know that we want to use the exoteric, decode it to get the esoteric, and that is where all the predictive programming and predictive analysis comes from. You're just using what's happened in the past because there's nothing new under the sun. Who was in the Titanic movie? Leonardo DiCaprio, Leo, the sun. This is telling you a story, and you need to be able to see through all of this, even though it's just bread and circus movies in Hollywood. You know, Hollywood, Hollywand. The Druids make their wands out of the Hollywood tree. So you guys know that this is just spells, this is the manipulation of the subconscious, etc., but it's all there right in front of you. Nobody's really hiding anything. You just have to have the eyes of a decoder, and that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to expose and hopefully make all of you much better decoders. Let's get a little deeper into this upcoming 15th date because of what I was saying earlier about the Titanic. You're probably well aware that the Titanic sank on the 15th of April, and as well as many other ritual events on the world stage. Notre Dame fire, the day in 2021 with the most C19 cases, Boston Marathon bombing. There's so many events that have happened, rituals that have happened on April 15th, but one of the most famous being the sinking of the Titanic. So before I jump straight into this, I just want to remind you that we have a 111 code to the Titanic, which is the 111th year since that event. And if we tie back the dates, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. 1912 to this year, giving you 111 years, powerful angel number, and New York giving you the 111. That again, the New York Stock Exchange. This all comes back to the bull, Taurus. We're entering Taurus in the zodiac all around that month of May. And again, I think that sell in May and go away decoded, it was so revealing on how this market works. And I don't think this year is going to be any different. So just a couple of things to mention about this. Let's show how this date right here, the actual, let me show you really quickly the connection to the end of Jubilee 2023. And you're going to see we have a flipped date right here from the 15th over. Let me show you a couple of connections here. So we have April 16th giving you the 106 day, the 259. We have the 259, the 106. So we're getting a flip of energy through all of this. Naturally, this makes the day of the actual Titanic sinking event to the last day of Rosh Hashanah, 260, 260, 105, 105. It's just the mirror. Now, it's making me think how important April was 2 years ago because we saw Bitcoin hit its all-time high initially on April 14th. We saw XRP almost hit $2 on April 14th and never got higher past that. So that whole time frame was crucial. And in the 2021 charts, let me quickly go to this, we had an eclipse kick in around May. Boom, market came down right in May. And then we have this moment right here where we got through Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday. Boom, market rolled over in May, both on eclipses. So we had an eclipse here and an eclipse here, here, both in that May timeframe. And we know that April 5th will be an eclipse. So will this change? Will this energy change? Perhaps. I'm actually spending a little bit of time on the sidelines furthering my decoding projects to see that if I could find any flaws in the data, perhaps if there's a possibility for us to move up a little bit later into June. But so far, my analysis stands. I think these eclipses we need to pay a lot of attention to, but we need to be open-minded in the process. There's so many factors at play here. So if we were to potentially move up into that time frame of early June, it would be beautiful, extends things out a little bit, perhaps a little bit healthier of a market move up. But we saw in this last cycle, this market just moved up in a straight line right to the eclipses and then entered a downtrend. We don't want to overthink what has happened in the past, as well as all these other connections that we've been talking about today. So let's get back to this and finalize with some final notes. We know that April 15th is a very powerful ritual date. I don't think it will be a ritual date this year, but I want to show you one connection going back to 1912. This was the day the Titanic sank 111 years ago, connected to this upcoming Saturday. 2 Saturdays from now, and you have that being a 23 date numerology. That 23, we know we're in the Hebrew year of the 5783 adds up to 23. The year I'm calling Jubilee gives you that 23. We know Bitcoin in the same cipher has 23, as well as Mercury in the same cipher has 23, and we're just about a week out from this event to the next time that Mercury will be stationed retrograde on April 21st, which is the day after the solar eclipse. And if you go to this day of the 21st of this year, that's the 111th day of the year, and we have went through by then the 111th anniversary since the Titanic ritual. This is pretty incredible, guys. Mercury station retrograde on this day. I actually just noticed this connection right here with the 68 and 14 that comes back to Hermes. Hermes giving you that 68 right there, 68 date numerology. Hermes is Mercury. Mercury will be stationed retrograde on this day throughout the next lunar eclipse. It's pretty amazing. Now, remember about the Titanic, this was a huge ritual, and this 111 will be more a completion energy for that anniversary. And remember, the Titanic ritual was to get rid of some influential men who opposed the Federal Reserve System, which went live a year later in 1913. And the Federal Reserve will be 111 years old on December 23rd of 2024. So next year, December 2024. Keep that in mind. Big reason why I think the Fed still has some time before it's ritualized, but I'll get to that in a future decode. So to wrap up today's decode, this energy we're getting in the market right now shouldn't surprise you if you've been following my work for some length of time. So now that we're so close to this upcoming solar eclipse I've been preparing for and exposed to you all over a half a year ago to prepare everyone for this exact energy we're getting in these markets right now, and that we can anticipate the next 2 to 4 weeks to be highly volatile in this market, especially for cryptocurrency. So probably 2 videos ago, I brought up how after the 19th week of the year, I'm not feeling so good. And my sell in May, walk away decoded, I put a lot of emphasis on the 20th week of the year. And as far as we are today, I am sticking to that analysis. I'm pretty sure that when we have that anniversary of the New York Stock Exchange coming in on May 17th, that's probably one of the key things to consider, as well as moving into Taurus. So before we get into the TA, go ahead and give this video a like if you haven't already. Spread some love in the comments section. That's what we're all about here. Let's get to Bitcoin. Hopefully these charts load up smoothly for me. I've been having some weird Wi-Fi lately. I'm sure many of you have had some interesting internet connection stuff and servers going down, and it's been really wacky over in internet land over the past couple days. But getting to these charts, I'm really hoping that they load up. We have a couple of things to bring up. Bitcoin hitting into that 28K level. I'm sorry if this is glitching. I might have to, kind of wrap up this video a little bit early. I got to some of the big date connection stuff. Is really the best I can do. Let me see if these load. All right. So let me try to load up the main chart right here. I'll go over all the analysis on a single run. Okay. Appreciate your patience. So we have that 382 fib right there. We got a fib pulled from the current all-time high down to the swing low of the cycle ending in about November 22nd. That 382 fib we've been holding now going on pretty much 21 days. So about 3 weeks. We're moving through the full moon today. Bitcoin's looking pretty damn good though, since it's been testing on this 382. And I just want to let everyone know a little cheat code. I've been talking about this energy called an automatic rally or a relief rally in the crypto market to anticipate relief into these solar eclipses. And you could confirm this, technically, you can confirm this when it gets above the 382. So the fact that Bitcoin's been holding almost a month above these levels solidifies that for me. And it tells me that we are in the automatic rally. We also saw ETH start to break out above 1900 over the past couple days. That's another good sign that the energy is still working in our favor to the upside. But I do not feel that this will be a breakout into new all-time highs or anything like that, just merely a bull trap. So getting up potentially into this 618 around the golden pocket and then folding over after the eclipses, that's what I'm seeing. But for now, this is looking really, really good. We're getting a lot of rejections coming into this fractal of everything back in May. So literally a year ago when we were struggling to hold this support, peeling over below 30K. We're battling with that zone right now. And that was the lower supports coming in at the start of the bull run in 2021, coming down into those eclipses of 2021 in the summertime, bottoming out, holding that support through July, coming back up and then retesting it again. This is a critical zone. So for Bitcoin to start closing like 3-day or 5-day candles above 30K would be ideal. And that would be perfect at this time to see one last leg up into this area of potentially 40K on the charts. That 0.5 fib is a key level, and if we can load up the CME chart, you'll see that we do have a little bit of a gap sitting around there. I think that's something to consider. One moment. It's a shame to have this internet connection when you have these skills. But this is the world we live in. So we have a gap right there sitting around 34,400 to 35,200. That gap is crucial. Keep that in mind. So I do see potential for us to fill that out before rolling over. And we do have a downside gap around 20K. That would make perfect sense for us to extend through this final gap, maybe make it up to about 40K. Get rejected off of there and come back down to fill this gap sometime in the fall time, maybe even as early as July, August. Now, I will keep it there because I don't want to waste too much time on these charts loading up. I have Ethereum, and we could see Ethereum over the past couple of days has started to break structure. That's looking pretty good, but still, I want to see closures above this August 14th high. Until we could get above that in the 0.5 fib, no parties. Same thing for XRP. So we do have potential for us to see above 2,000 as soon as this week. It's not much higher for for ETH. It tends to do this once it gets on a run. It starts to run. You know, we could see very volatile breakouts on this asset. Nothing surprising here. Let's look at XRP, and we have a couple things to mention, but if you watch my last video, I was talking about this weekly chart, and if you were to turn it into an area candle instead of having the wicks, this gives you a very clear layout of what to potentially expect for the next move to the upside, somewhere around 60 cents. And here we have it. So you can see if I remove this white line, we have this going back to the yearly highs of 2021 and cutting through rejections. And if we were to look at around the time of this eclipse, it's about 60 cents is where this trend line is coming in. So I'm being open-minded to that right now as a potential level for us to slide into. Maybe it would require Ethereum getting to about $2,000. I suspect they'll happen in synchronicity. Maybe 30K Bitcoin in line with a 60 cent XRP in line with a $2,000 ETH, pretty much all synchronized at that same moment would make a lot of sense. The big reason why is the automatic rally ended last cycle all at the same time. So if we do get above 60 cents for XRP, I think we could quickly swipe all the way up to about 90. I shared in my last video that I put out 83 to 91 cents is a key target area for me for that last move to the upside, and I do see potential of breaching $1. Any higher than $1.10, it's a little bit overextended, and I don't think it has much juice left in it after that 91 cent territory. We know how XRP likes to act. It could wick up to $1.10 in the same day, keel over, and then that could be the end of it for the automatic rally for XRP. So please take this very seriously right now. Keep your greed on the sidelines. This is not a time to mess around with these charts. This market is extremely volatile. It could pump really quick, dump even quicker. And I recently did an interview round 2 with Bearable Bull. I'm sure that he's going to release that pretty soon. And in that interview, I share all of my thoughts on XRP, how I see this going forward. So stick around for that. That's going to be probably a 2-hour interview packed full of gnosis, packed full of gems. So I'm going to leave it at that. In the meantime, I do think this full moon energy can give us a little bit of neutral price action, nothing too crazy to the downside. And after a couple of days, probably by April 8th, we should start to pivot out of this. I do think we have 60 cent XRP coming soon, $2,000 ETH coming soon, and 30,000 Bitcoin coming very soon, probably as early as next week. So take some notes on the decoding part of this video for sure. But the analysis is pretty much sticking to the same stuff that I've been talking about over the past 2 weeks, just because not much has changed in the market. We're just going with the flow right now. And thus far, Start of April looking pretty damn good after we had an extremely bullish monthly close for March. That was a 3-month candle close. It looked incredible. And I covered all of that on my recent Red Pill podcast. So those of you that want to get access to those exclusive podcasts, patreon.com/watersabove. I did that full decode on the fly on PulseChain, and yeah, wow. It was very interesting for me because I don't know too much about that project, but I have a lot of people coming to me from the HEX community that wanted me to look at it. So I did a little bit of a deep dive into that. I know that'll be exciting for those of you that are wanting more HEX information. So that'll be found in that podcast, as well as about 10 different altcoins that I reviewed. It was really a fun celebration of 2 years for the channel. So I appreciate everyone's support. I'm so grateful for all of you, and I will be catching you in the next one. Much love.